I got the light skin ass, and Devin got the brown skin ass.
A little bit of both. Representation. You want the brown ass?
A light skin ass like that? That's a very light butt. Yeah. Like this. Welcome back to another episode of Love Like This. Y'all are gonna fuck up my intro one way or the other.
Sorry.
If this is your first time listening to this Lovecast, then welcome. We love you. If you've been listening since episode 1, then thank you for sticking with us. And if this is your 50th, 100th, or 150th episode, and I can't believe me and Milah have made it this long, but welcome again. I'm Orlando, a.k.a. Orlando, a.k.a. the big bad bitch. And sitting right next to me is my my wife-to-be.
Hi.
You fuck up. You don't give a fuck. Just fuck it.
I told you have a different podcast style than me. You are so animated. I feel like I'm the co-pilot. I'm Milah. Hi. Hello.
Hi, baby.
I'm not going to come with the AKs and all that shit. Maybe one day. Maybe I'm going to slowly, you're going to pour into my confidence cup, and I'm just going to be like the podcast queen over here.
You're going to kill it. I believe in you. You know.
Keep pouring.
Keep up, my nigga. I got you. Keep up, my nigga. Anyway, this is our first time doing a double date, right? And we're so fucking excited. We don't know how to act, but we are introducing today Jade Nova and
Devin. Yeah. Her partner.
Yeah,
what?
No, you did great. That was perfect. We're working our way into it because it's our very first double date episode when we have guests on.
Did you just come up with that right now?
Yeah, double date. You liked it?
That's cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I've been working like the like things for the episodes and stuff like that just so it can make it work out. Yeah. But the first thing we want to ask you is, how is your love life?
Ooh, they just went straight into it. They didn't even try and like
this guy.
Nah, don't worry my way up.
Hold on, let me sip this ass. I'll let you. Do you wanna start?
Sure. Our love life is very healthy. Balance is the word that comes to mind because we've been focusing on all the parts of ourselves that I think help us have a full appreciation for all parts of our love life. So I mean everything from tantra to just our spirituality, our monk statements, everything is kind of geared towards just being our best selves. So I love.
You might have to explain what monk statements
are.
I
was about to say how that.
I was gonna let you say all that shit and then repeat and define all of it.
Yeah, so it's basically affirmations. It was something that we got in therapy as a practice to do, and something that we've kept going in our relationship of. Just talking about the things that we want to manifest in our relationship and how we use, all our creativity, our sex, everything to manifest those things that we want. So it's always at the forefront of our minds.
I love that. I love that a lot.
What he said.
Oh, you're going to take on that too? You're not going to sprinkle your own?
Oh, so the question was, how is our love life?
How's your love life?
I think it's beautiful. I think we're in a really great place. I mean, honestly, everything that he said, but I think that there's always such a beautiful element to our love just because we share passions together. We create art together. And so, yeah, I think that they feed each other in a way that always keeps things novel, and just we're traveling together. We see the world together. We do business. Like there's so many levels that all kind of feed back to our love. So I'm grateful. I think it's bomb.
Oh no, it's got
It's nice.
How long have you guys been together?
We've been in partnership for 12 years, and then we've been married for 8. We'll be 9 in December.
Did you feel like as soon as you did the words, you did the official thing? Like does the energy shift?
What as far as getting married versus me I don't think that the energy shift for us because we were already married in our mind. You know what I mean? Like I think if anything it affirmed it for the outside world. But for us, we already felt
what was that?
Yeah, like husband, like kind of the way y'all operate, like this is my wife, this is my intention, like Yeah, we were already there.
And one thing about me, I love being married in my mind. Because I was definitely before Milah, I was engaged, but I didn't have a ring. And so I kept calling her my ex-fiance once we break up. And Milah's like, nigga, you gave her a string. Like, y'all string together
I
a
was
ring.
like, you're
Like,
gonna
doesn't
really
count.
stop disrespecting me by continuing to refer to this 1-year relationship 4 years ago as your ex-fiance, my love.
It still counts.
It doesn't, babe.
I got on one knee. Sorry, it doesn't count.
Was it on FaceTime? Like, you're lying.
It was on FaceTime.
It's okay.
A virtual proposal.
It was long distance.
These are the questions you have to ask, my love, because then you're like, this doesn't really make sense, but it makes sense to in his mind, his very special Aquarius mind.
How did y'all meet?
Ooh, girl podcasting.
On a podcast, online.
Yeah,
Really?
it's my favorite love story, my own, because our listeners asked. Oh, I think you asked your listeners like, who should we collab with? And it was during pandemic, so everybody's like collabing with everybody in podcasting and shit like that.
You got nothing else to do.
Ain't shit else to do. So we did a podcast. Ended up getting stolen and. The content was gone. My hard drive got stolen.
Oh,
so I was like, hey, you know, I'm coming out to LA. We should do a Patreon or something together. And so I came out to LA.
From where? Where were you?
New York. I lived in New York, Brooklyn before this. So I came out to LA. We did a Patreon, me and her and Erica for Good Moms. And then I was like, she told a story about how some guy that she was dating like pulled up his sock, put on her socks.
Like my thigh
And
high
then her thigh high socks and pulled up to his thighs and then like started spinning and dancing and like slow in a circle in a Rasta. Yeah. It was a Rasta man dancing slow and like girly. And then she was like, yeah. And then like I gave him head with the socks on. And I was like, I like this girl. I was like, I like this girl. And then I told her,
said no man ever.
so, yeah, right.
I really fuck with her.
I like her. Yeah.
That's gonna be my wife.
She's going places. Oh wow, yeah. That's...
So yeah, she did that, and then I said I never did shrooms before. She was like, oh yeah, come over and like we'll do shrooms together. She looked at me, and when I went over that night, she looked at me. I just want to let you know I'm a witch. I said, I could fuck with this. Nobody's ever told me this before, but because you could tell me, I could fuck with this. We did shrooms. I rubbed on her body for hours, telling her how I'm her blessing. Telling her how like she doesn't even know it yet, but she's gonna see like I'm her blessing.
I was like, this nigga's weird. In my head, I was like, I can't wait to call Erica.
Yeah.
And tell her how weird he is.
And this is like the first kind of time.
This is literally the first day,
Yeah.
first night.
Wow.
And I was like, of course I would invite a stranger over to do mushrooms.
Right. Met me that day in a crop top and everything, and I was like, yeah, let's do mushrooms and podcasts. Spent this amazing night together. The very next day, I was like, let's go to brunch. I rented a Corvette. I was like, you drive it.
Come on.
Drive the Corvette.
Come on, Flake.
Went to
And
brunch.
the only reason I was like, I didn't expect him to offer me to go eat, and I'm a foodie bitch. But I was like, I guess I could go get a meal real quick. I was like, I guess that call to Erica could wait. So I couldn't wait to go talk some shit.
Yeah, and it was over. We went on live that day. We went to the beach. We took pictures of her sitting on my face, like in public in what was it, Venice Beach? Like
Y'all posted them?
Yeah, I put it right on Instagram story that very
We're
time.
both like crazy people.
We were
Were y'all
wilding.
both single at the time?
Yeah, it was literally day 2 of ever meeting each other.
But he's a
wilding.
weirdo. Like
I don't give a fuck.
I wasn't really interested. Honestly, I just thought it was fun and like whatever. I just told you I sucked some nigga's dick from the back who's wearing my socks. So I wasn't really like thinking it was gonna,
catch a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he brought me. He's like, let's go to the beach. And I was like, fuck, I didn't have anything to do. And he brought me around this girl. He's like, my homegirl's there. And I was like, okay. We were around this girl all day. We were like besties. We were just like making best friends. Like. He, after like hours of like drinking and hanging out, he like goes away for like 15 minutes to go drop off our jackets. And as soon as he gets out of like earshot, she's like, so I just want to let you know that me and Orlando used to date, and I think he's trying to have a threesome. And I was like, oh, I thought we were besties. I was like, oh, no, I don't know him. I was like, we're not dating. I was like, I'm not trying to have a threesome. Like, I'm cool. Like, it's all good. But after that, she literally her energy shifted immediately. Like, bitch, I'll kill you. She's like, I've been trying to get him to be serious. He doesn't really call me back. And I was like, oh, I don't even know him. But after that, I was like, kind of dick does he have? I was like, immediately got curious. I'm like, we just went from best friends all day, and this bitch almost switched so quick.
Oh yeah.
And at first I was like, this thing is crazy. Why would he bring me? Why did he not say anything? I was just like confused. And after that, I was like, I might need to give him some just to check to see.
Why this bitch acting like
what
this?
it's hidden for.
I was like, this nigga the crop top. This bitch is about to beat my ass over the crop top, nigga. I was like, huh.
Yeah, and then
I'm shallow.
Yes, this is crazy. We had amazing sex. I took her to Topanga Mountain. We watched the moon set. I made her ackee and saltfish, and then after a week, she was hooked. She found out why.
Dang, come on, confidence.
Yeah, you know, I try to do my thing.
Come on, wine and dine and
I know. By the time I called Erica, we ended up spending like every day together. And I was like, girl, it's crazy. I was going to call you to tell you how weird this nigga was. But I was like, I think maybe he's just an actor. I was like, I like him. I think he's an actor. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, I don't know what happened.
It was amazing.
I changed my mind. I think I have a crush on him.
Oh, I got a question, right? And I'm going to preface this question with, my most impressive thing that I think I did while dating Milah was do a one-man stand-up show on top of Topanga Mountain for like 30 minutes, right?
Oh.
What was Devin's most impressive thing to you while dating?
This is quite a character.
Oh my gosh, his most impressive
Or one of.
thing. Honestly, it wasn't like this isolated thing. It was more so discovering all of his gifts and his genius. I told him the other day, I'm like, you really are like a genius, dude. Like the way that he can pick up anything and learn something so quickly and master it, but then also like have the discipline to dedicate time to learning things. Like he's a student of life, and just seeing all these things reveal themselves over time. Like, oh, you play like how many instruments, and oh, you do this and you did this. Like every day I'm learning something new about him. Or, oh yeah, I met Prince and we said, well, I'm like, what the fuck? How did you not share this with me? And you know how I feel. Like every day I'm learning something. What was it the other day? Literally, I just learned something and I'm like, how did I not? Oh, that he
I was
could
into like ninjas.
that he
like,
knows how to use
like,
nunchucks.
Really?
I learned this 2 days ago from his mom. I'm like, you know, first of all, that Michelangelo was my favorite Ninja Turtle. And he was
Yeah, the
I'm like,
nunchucks,
how
yeah.
did this never come up? Like, oh, yeah, girl, you know I can do nunchucks.
Napoleon Dynamite over here.
You just do
Man, oh my God, yeah, that was my movie in high school.
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
like,
that movie too.
you know how you like are good at nunchucks. So again, just his genius.
Jack of all trades.
Wait, did you really meet Prince?
Yeah, he was at the
Yeah.
he was at the studio here in Atlanta. Yeah. It was
Well, we're in LA right now, boo.
Oh yeah.
They just
I'm
got
tripping.
here. They didn't.
We-
Their
In all
bodies didn't get here yet. Their minds didn't get here yet. Oh wow, that's impressive. You know what? One of the things when we were talking about, like, what are we going to talk about with them? This is early on in our podcasting. We've had a really soft launch. We're just over here chatting and softly putting it out. So I appreciate you guys joining us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I always really enjoy hanging out with like other healthy couples, because when you hang out with like not healthy ones, it's always like super awkward. And
Especially
they're-
when you're the healthy one. And,
Yeah,
and
it
you're
makes
and
it
you're
awkward,
healthy.
like
Yeah.
tension.
Yeah.
Of,
Right,
like, why
right.
don't you kiss
Yeah,
me?
Right.
you can feel it. You're like,
Right.
Yeah. Them
Right.
awkwardly trying to connect.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
like stepbrothers.
How does it work?
But they did the hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for real.
No, for that
But we have a lot of not a lot of similarities, but just in the sense that you guys both work together.
Yeah.
I already like as creatives, and I know how much time and like spent that is, you guys live together, same, and we're traveling together the same, and
Even the blended family, like I had a son before we got together, and you had
Yeah.
Luna.
Yeah, and I think we both have men, because we've touched on this like briefly in on Good Moms about just like how seriously you take your role as a stepfather, and how you've always been that way. And as soon as you just even before marriage and all these other things,
right.
and I think those are already in itself like very specific things, because a lot of people cannot handle living, breathing, hanging out, working with, and still not just tolerating, but being in love with their partners.
Yep.
And also like blending families, especially like I know you guys know, like the internet hates single moms, and the men have declared that they hate us too.
War
And
on
that's a
single
war.
moms.
No, for real. It's a war.
It's
And
a new World War III.
and that we're not worthy of love, and we're not
Yeah.
worthy of relationships. And so I'm glad we get to sit and chat with you guys and like explore it, because I think a lot of women believe that shit. You know?
I believed it. You know what I mean? It made me. You said what?
A lot of men believe it.
Oh
also.
yeah, no, it's true. Where I just didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't even feel like I was worthy of him when we first met because I had a child, and a lot of people around him affirmed that idea that like she has a kid, and like what are you
doing?
Yeah, like are you ready for these? Like put this pressure or like this negative experience that he would have if he were to date me. And so I internalized that and felt like, well, maybe I'm not worthy. And so before him, I would date men that I like were older or already had children, or like I limited my pool because I felt like I had this baggage that made me less than.
How old was your son when you guys met?
He was 3.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah. He was young.
Yeah.
Peed on his couch and everything.
It happens.
Sealed the deal.
You're like, I know. Then the mom are like, why would you embarrass me like that? Hold it in. We almost had a stepdaddy.
That's what sealed it for you? What sealed it for me is Luna going, you're not my dad.
You said Luna what?
She going, you're not my dad. And I was like, that's how I know. This is my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she don't fuck with me. This is my daughter.
You like the rebellion.
Yeah, like to this day, we still like we jokingly say it like, you need to get away from me. You're not my daughter. I just met you like 2 years ago, so we really don't have a
have
real
both
joke like
strange sense of
weird
humor.
straight sense of humor. But last night I did say like, hey, let me check your homework before you go to bed, and she was like, yeah, it's to help you so that when you get to school the next day, you don't got nothing wrong. And she's just like bitching about it, like, oh, you don't got to check it.
I'm confident about it.
Yeah, and she's like, your parents got to check your work, and she goes, he's not my parent, and I was like, bed. Just bed. Just
I was like, you can say that now, but when you need help with that math, you can't ask me.
Right.
Girl, math.
I was just doing math. I was like, girl, you might need to apologize because shit, I can't help you. I wasn't about to look over it. I was about to give it to him.
How old is she?
9.
Okay.
But it's just
math
spice.
is getting harder.
But then they laugh hysterically, like they're literally the weird sense of humor between the two of them. It's dry as hell and strange, and they get it, and they're like,
we laughing our ass off. She's like, what's wrong with y'all?
How did you feel coming in dating someone with a child? Like, did you previously date moms? Like, was it a major pressure? Did you have that mindset like everybody else?
No, I wasn't against it. I wasn't even at the age where that was really like a thing like that. Like most people didn't have kids. I was only 22 at the time. So, yeah, I was open to it. I had dated someone very briefly who had a child, but like it wasn't anything like to speak about. So yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, it wasn't because I wasn't around her child. Like that's how insignificant the relationship was. So, but that was my only experience with dealing with someone with a child. So yeah, I mean, I've had a nephew since I was 9. I had younger cousins and just a really big family. I mentored, kids at my church and
younger sister.
Yeah, but it was kind of second nature for me to just be able to take that leadership role. I've had mentor type roles and leadership roles my whole life, so like that came very natural to me. But it was also a pressure to make sure that I am representing that masculine energy that he needed, being with us.
And like I said, he is a student of life, so he took time to make sure that he was ready to take on that role. And so,
Oh, you're much better than me because I definitely hopped in the door. I'm daddy now. I am father.
Now, he'd be on the phone, like, he just got here. He'd be like, yeah, just me and my daughter. We're going to the... I'm like, you fucking relax.
Wow.
Can you fucking relax?
Was that hard for you?
Yeah, it made me super uncomfortable. I'm like, this guy is like... I mean, we all know he's quite the character. He's a lot of character. It's a maximum 10 on all levels. But I was like, God damn, like, can you ease in? He's like, I took her to the store, and the woman kept saying, you look just like your father. He's like, I didn't say shit. I was just grinning. And literally looking at me like, nigga.
I was buying her something from the store, too, so she would look at me and be like, you over there. You over there lying, but she would have the thing that I'm buying her in hand, so she ain't saying nothing about it. I was like, yeah, we're gonna keep it copacetic. It's my daughter, right?
but I do think like the society's you internalize it and you start to believe like I don't deserve this. It could drop off. Like I don't like you don't even realize that you are living in a place of like I'm not deserving of this type of love or this type of relationship. And I just think even for non-moms, like overall. For Black women, I don't think that we get the depiction of the man that wants to be in a relationship and wants to be have a family and wants to commit.
Enthusiastic,
like, yeah, I'm in a relationship and this is what we do. I'm going to be a good dad and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that because this is what I'm choosing to do. It's no, like, literally most of our depiction is like half-ass. And like, so you don't even consider that there is a man that also is enthusiastic about being in a relationship, because women are given that role. Your whole life, you're like, our worth is tied to our relationship status. And as a single mom, if it didn't work, it's your fault. And now you have baggage, not the nigga.
Exactly.
Even though you got the same fucking kid. It's like a totally different, like, society looks at you completely differently. And it's so interesting. I'm like, oh yeah, like when I met Orlando, he was like, I've been wanting to be a husband since I was 9. I've been preparing for this. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Where did that come from? Like, were your parents?
No, I have terrible parents. That's where it came from. That is where it came from, though.
But you wanted to go against what you saw.
Yeah. I, for some reason, understood good and bad as a kid. And so seeing my parents' dynamics, my parents were never together. I was what's called a bastard child, because my dad was married.
Don't call yourself a bastard child, darling. He's a product
by definition,
of a cheating father.
Yeah. So my dad was
Game
married.
Of Thrones.
Right.
Exactly. I'm a bastard child.
Send me north.
Shame. Exile him.
So my dad was married, but I was the first child, and so that made it even worse. So they had a very tumultuous relationship, and my whole thing was, my mom looks unhappy all the time. So I'm going to make sure that I'm a person that makes sure whoever I'm with is never unhappy. So that was just like my driving force behind it. Like, okay, I don't know how to be a good parent or how to be a good husband, but I know if I do the opposite of my parents, I'm gonna be good money. So that was my, like, driving force. Just seeing living and seeing an unhappy woman every day made me want to produce more happy women around me.
Tell them what your favorite movie is.
Pretty Woman.
Since the 4th grade.
Really? I love that movie. I could watch it all the time. If it's on the plane, she's watching it. If I'm in a hotel and it's on TNT, bitch is watching it.
It's always on TNT, too.
It's always on
TNT.
It's a good
It's
time.
like the Cinderella story. I was like...
It's a horror Cinderella story.
Cinderella.
I'm like, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Julia's the classiest horror ever.
She got chose. I can't be chose too. Despite my circumstances.
You got chose. You're the horror in the relationship.
Hey, I'm the horror in the relationship. But just seeing like all these unhealthy dynamics around me made me want to be a husband or be a dad, or seeing like seeing how I was raised, and then seeing like the shit Luna goes through. Like as a kid, I would look at her like at 8 years old and then 9 years old and be like, oh, I remember when I was this age. And then when she didn't know how to ride a bike, I was like, I remember being a kid in Brooklyn, outside all day, every day, on your bike, like riding around, playing with other kids. I was like, you're missing out on an important thing right now in life. Taught her ass how to ride a bike. And it's like, I'm just driven to remembering like where these kids are, and then it coming back to me, because my childhood was so like traumatic that I forgot a lot of my childhood. So then seeing Luna at her age, I was like, oh yeah,
it's
I do remember this.
Work.
Yeah,
it's literal inner child work,
and that's literally what it is.
Children,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, so I'll even take Erica's kid and I'm like, bring her ass too. She's learned how to ride a bike. Like, let's all go something. Like, I'll just be
you
driven
marry
to
us
it.
both. You marry me and my wife.
It's a package deal.
Yeah, it's a package
really
deal, basically.
Thank God I have someone who's down for the cause, because we're a whole lot, and we all work together. So it's like it's poly, but it's very
Polyplatonic.
Polyplatonic.
Polyplatonic. Yeah, that's how you start a tribe.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You sure? I was just gonna say, what relationship style did you guys witness growing up? Because you have a lot of when you said all the things that make your love beautiful, and the things that you practice, the tantra and the, what do you call them, the monk statements, the monk statements, and like just the commitment to growth. Like what are our clear points? I'm like, I feel like one of the reasons I wanted to start this podcast with Orlando is like, we see a lot of shit on the internet about us like gender wars, especially in the Black community. And I'm like, but I know that there are genuinely people who are doing a good job and in healthy, loving relationships that are free and fun and like consistent and been together for a long time. And so like we need more of that. So I'm just curious, like, did you have a really solid like example of?
No. Similar, situation. Just I'm really good at understanding why things don't work and why things do work. That's the Virgo rising in me.
Analytics.
I see every little detail, how they all connect, and can find the patterns in pretty much anything. And I understood that both of my parents had a hard time communicating. And so I knew that I needed to be very, very honest if I was going to be
to a fault. See, not even to a fault, but just I used to say brutally honest, and you're like, why does it have to be
it's
brutal?
Because it feels brutal.
Yeah, but he is unwaveringly honest.
So I thought that was the first step, and then that opened up all the other things that ultimately came in the health and wellness space. Like it just came from just like I need to be honest. I don't want to walk around with that feeling of I can't be like who I am in my most important relationship, and a lot of people are just being a shell of themselves to appease the other person. They're
happy wife, happy life.
They're in pleasure relationships. They're not in like growth relationships.
Pleasure relationships?
Yeah, just like what can you do to serve my insecurities?
And if you're not doing it, then I have no use for you.
Right.
I feel like growth relationships are pleasure relationships.
Yeah.
When you're clear about what the root of the pleasure actually is.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? I think sometimes people are covering toxic shit with pleasure,
right?
Physical pleasure,
exactly.
But there's level to this pleasure shit.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and that's the pleasure I speak of. It's just it's like masking the things I don't want to deal with, or like I don't want to deal with myself. So like just be here to make me feel good.
Yeah, like a toy.
Yeah, like shut up, shut up, do I say?
Don't touch that part of it. Let's just focus on this.
And that's the hard part that people don't really realize, and I had to realize that. Like there was a lot of things that like it was minor things, but I was like, oh, this nigga's a whole human. I don't get to design him the way I expected. Like I don't get to remove all his crop tops from his. Like I can't this can't be the thing that stops me from loving someone, and also loving someone who when you're aware that they're human, it's like you can surrender to things not like being exactly like you thought they would be, or like someone being brutally honest with you, and you're like, I don't want this much. I know I want honesty, but not this much. You know, like I wish you would shut the fuck up a little bit. You know, and so I think people, I think sometimes we forget what we're asking. Like, be careful what you ask for.
Correct, because I definitely manifested him.
Yeah,
yes, he is a mirror to me, and has been my growth partner. Like when you have positive, healthy partnership, it accelerates your growth in this lifetime.
And it heals a lot of shit.
It does.
I feel like it's like, especially us talking about our parent, like the parent examples that we saw, the first love relationships that we saw, and a lot of them not hitting the mark, or like having healthy communication, fucking transparency, honesty.
No intimacy either.
Right.
I never saw my parents kiss, ever, or say they loved each other, ever.
Same.
And so you think that's normal. You think like, oh, you stop doing those things. So this is what marriage looks like after a long period of time. And then, but you turn on movies and it's like this fairy tale, like you're like, I want that type of love, but you don't know what the fuck it requires to maintain that type of love.
If Julia Roberts can have it, so can I.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how I really felt. Like, he picked her up off the street. Like, why can't I find love? Like, it makes sense to me.
But he had to love her with conditions, though. He literally, it was like, what do you call it? My Fair Lady. Do y'all remember that musical, like, with Eliza Doolittle, where she was like this Cockney-speaking British woman, and he did a challenge where I can take any woman and turn her into a lady. And so it's kind of that same story with, like, he didn't just take her off the street and accept her as she was. He put her in new clothes and taught her how to, like, he changed her to fit his narrative of what a woman should look like for him to feel like she's worthy.
But at the end of the day, even if he put her in new clothes, he still had to accept that who she was who she was. And some of the homies knew she came from the street.
Right. He told the lawyer.
Yeah, and you gotta like, listen, nigga, this is my bitch now. You know,
he even punched his homeboy.
Which a lot of men are not willing to do, because they think they're supposed to pick up someone, they're supposed to be scotch free, no bodies. You know what I mean?
Nobody
like all these
count.
they never fuck not one of my friends. They don't know none of my friends. Like it's just like these ridiculous standards that they're not held to. But that's the thing is like we have to accept each other dirty because we all are.
Yep.
You know, just because we all come with shit, and the more we grow and live and exist together in intimacy, like your shit's gonna come up.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not like maybe I used to be a street walking whore. I mean, I did suck that guy's dick from the back with the socks on. But
I was a street walking whore. So, I was actually a street walking whore.
true, which really made my rap sheet
Not
much
that bad.
easier. Every time you say something to me, I'm like, nigga, you have an OnlyFans, and I have to accept that. Your dick is on the internet, and I'm gonna have to tell my kid that at some point. Like, like, talk to him. I don't fucking know.
Talk to your father.
you go talk to your father about those choices. I have nothing to do with that. But yeah, it's like that is like the overall acceptance you have to be willing to go to if you really truly want a partner, like a friend. Yeah. Because if it's that fluff shit, it's always going to be some surface ass relationship.
Yes, it will.
Ooh.
And that's interesting too because like there's two different dynamics of what you see in films, right? Like you see, like you said, the romanticized, like Disney, oh my God, I want this thing. But then you also see like a lot of toxicity, like Married with Children, or like The Simpsons, or like, you know, I gotta go to the bar and get away from the ball and chain kind of thing. Like after a while, like kind of what you were saying, like that happy wife, happy life sort of thing, where you become a shell of yourself and you have to lie and you have to creep around to exist in your fullness. And they would go to the bars and talk to their guys and hate their wives and hate their lives, and there was no middle ground.
What have you guys done? Do you like? I know you mentioned tantra. Like, what practices have you guys done, or things that you've adopted in your relationship that have helped you integrate your whole self into the relationship? Because I think a lot of people, even I've noticed, like we came in super transparent. We came in like we lived on different sides of the country. And like I said, I was telling them all type. We were podcasters that both were talking about sex and our dating life, and was very transparent. And like, so that in the beginning of our relationship, it was very much like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. We were dating other people. We had an open relationship for a minute. We were fucking other people and then telling each other about it. And as like when he moved here, you know, like things, you know, and then I got a little more comfortable, a little more monogamous. And then I'm like, oh, my jealousy is coming out. And I like, this is the same person that I just knew was fucking other people, you know, last year. But now because I'm in routine and we're in this deep closeness, coexisting, people forget like, or if, you know, like you go out of town and like, you always go out of town with me. Like, nigga, you don't miss this nigga. You see him every day. But there's when you're in deep routine with someone, things come up when things veer out of that. Or like, you know, I had this crazy experience with this person and we had this crazy exchange. And I'm like, wait, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like our defense systems go up when you feel even remotely like you could lose someone, or there's an interest in someone else, or anything else is exciting outside of your relationship when you share it in so much. Like, what have you done in the last decade to kind of like bring that growth space back to the forefront? Like, you're an individual, I'm an individual, and we love each other because we're friends first, and then, you know.
Ooh, I'm gonna let you take this one, Shelly.
I think just the understanding that we couldn't complete each other. Like that was, you can always try to add someone to your life, but they have to be their own picture and not a piece of your puzzle or your picture. I think that was the biggest thing, just that realization. And, you know, I think it came relatively early in our relationship that, you know, we were like, okay, we understood, like, I can't force you to be on my journey on my time, and you got to do your thing, and you have to work on yourself, and I have to work on myself. And I think once we got there, our relationship became more at the forefront, because we saw that some of those individual things that we may have needed or wanted were simply just the acceptance of our partner to understand and see us as a whole, and not judge us because it may go outside of the lines that they say it should be in. And then I think once you have that acceptance, I think it makes you appreciate the relationship more.
It removes that desire.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of it's the same thing of just like if your parents give you permission to do it, it's not just tempting.
I'll get a tattoo if I want. Like, that's true. I realized that even in our open space, I was like, God, I used to be like, I in a solo space be more of a hoochie, but when I was given the space to hooch out, I was just like, I don't feel like going. I'm like, this dick ain't that good. I'm just gonna sit my ass down.
Yeah.
That rebellious.
Because then he'll be like, why? And I'm like, just stop. But don't question my whoreness. Just let me
because I think any desire ultimately goes back to some form of validation, whether it's big or small or healthy or not, and I think the acceptance of that is the ultimate validation that we're all looking for.
Yeah.
It's just because the inner child in all of us are like, my mom would be upset with me. My dad would be my teacher, my Sunday school teacher, my pastor, whatever. And we're all still that little kid inside that just wants someone to be like, it's just like, oh, it's okay.
It's
like,
okay.
I understand that why you want to do that or whatever. And
that's such
that was it.
That's a good one. That's good because I thought. For women particularly, like for a long time, I think I wilded out because I was testing to see if there are men that are like, I love you regardless. Yeah. Because I do feel valuable. I do feel like I'm smart. I do feel like, and it does help that I've been successful in my honesty. I mean, for a lot of people, that's a no-go because bitch, you're being too loud about it.
Right.
But I was just like, I was testing the waters. Like, I'm going to actually go harder because this is who I am and fuck you. And like, like if you don't love all of me, then you don't love me at all.
I'm going to really show you
I'm going to
me.
really show you, because I don't give a fuck. But when someone was like, I don't care, bitch. Like, okay. You know what I mean? Then I was like,
yeah.
I'm in the house.
I don't want to do this dumb shit no more.
I'm going to bake a cake.
Right.
You know?
Now you want to be try to wipe. I'm not a whore anymore. No.
But I think a lot of us are seeking and waiting for someone to love us with all the flaws.
Yes.
As we are, to say, like, I love every part of you, every part who I see right now. If that's what made you the version of this, I fuck with it. I don't care how many niggas, I don't care what, like, I don't, because we all, that's like the part of being human and being loved that I think a lot of women and a lot of men don't feel validated in. And shit, we're all fucking imperfect fucking humans.
Yes.
Yep. I could definitely say that one thing for me that I always wanted to feel validated, it's not really horseshit, but it's knowing that, right. But it's knowing that I'm not going to be like casted aside for like fucking up. Or like if I'm emotional, you're not going to be like, all right, I don't want to deal with this right now, which is a lot of like what I dealt with when I was a kid. It's like nobody really paid attention to when I felt the way, right? It always seemed like everybody else married it other than me. So when I get to this point where I can be like, I'm upset right now, or I'm like really sad right now, and like you come and hold me and just like pat my head and be like, it's gonna be okay. Like that's where I feel like validated in a relationship that I wasn't getting before.
That's beautiful.
And kudos for you recognizing, like, I wasn't neglected as a child, and my mom or the people who were supposed to come through and raise me and like show up for me didn't. And so I realized in my adulthood, this is what I need. A lot of people are just acting out in ways that project those feelings that you like, whatever you didn't get in childhood, not recognizing, not being able to vocalize. And so it's just
being
like,
mad at, then you end up being mad at single moms and saying dumb shit
your mom
like
neglected you, so now you hate all the moms, right? They're all whores because your mom went on a date one time instead of coming home to
and
you.
tucking you in.
Like, for real.
No, that's really how it is. Oh God. To them poor boys.
I mean, I do send them love and compassion, and I do hope that they get a real reality check.
And put the microphones down.
For the love of fucking God. For the love of God, put the microphones down.
And raise better boys. Like my good friend right here is doing.
That's where it starts.
Devin, did you grow up religious in the religion, like in church?
Yeah, very religious. Had my great uncle was the pastor of my home church. He a lot of his kids were pastors. My mother was in ministry later on in life. My father was like a youth pastor and stuff like that. And so church was a big part. That's how I got into music. That's a big reason why I have the gifts that I have, is just learning through church. I'm not religious anymore. And I probably haven't been in 10.
It's been a while.
10 years.
Since you met Jade?
It was after.
Jade took you out the church.
No, because we both were like, indoctrinated.
Yeah, I think mine was moving out here and finally not having to play in church. Like it was a check before, and something I love to do, and but finally letting that go allowed me to just be honest about what I had always, or not always, but I had a lot of questions, basically.
Yeah.
And she was a safe space for me to open up and talk about that. And that was really the first step in us kind of opening our minds to understanding our individual journeys. I was very loud and proud about it.
About unprogramming the religion?
It was definitely something that I wanted to make sure that I let at least my inner circle know about, and my parents especially is like, I understand what you believe, but I just don't want that to always be the conversation or the lens that we speak in our conversations through. So yeah, that was interesting to go through, but I was very, very much had my mind made up that I didn't want to be religious and that I wasn't a Christian anymore.
Was that hard for your family?
Yeah.
I was there when you had that conversation.
Oh
with
God,
your
were you
dad.
like, God, why didn't you tell me to go?
Well, it wasn't even planned. I think it just organically came up when we were at dinner or something, right? When your dad came to visit in LA.
Yeah.
And I think he wept.
Oh no.
I can't remember, but it was
It was the thing.
Not he wept. Like he didn't even like fight. He didn't even argue. He was just like, "What has California done to my dear son?"
Not my boy.
No, I can't remember because we've had so many conversations since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't remember how that one went. But ultimately, I think both of my parents have a deep respect of where me being curious has taken me, and they see the results of it, over the years, and know that probably more than ever that I'm a good person, and that that my love is evident, and I'm loyal, and that none of the qualities that actually matter in our relationship have changed. If anything, they've gotten better because I'm holding myself accountable. And
they felt more comfortable. And I've noticed that even with the people around me who aren't here yet in their spiritual journey, they feel safer to ask questions or to be like, I've always felt like this or that. Like we've become this space for them to be able to like expand their minds and ask questions too.
Because they know you know both. They know you know the Bible, you know like the church way, and you've explored it outwardly, the other way. I think that's deeply healing for the whole family.
Yes, it is.
It's deeply healing, like when you can just speak your truth out loud and then stand in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially when you've been indoctrinated for like so long, and they've been indoctrinated, and they've been, you know what I mean?
It's liberating. It definitely throws a wrench in things because, You can't unsee it once it actually becomes a conversation. And I think a lot of our parents' generation have never had the conversations that
they weren't allowed to.
That we've had. So they're like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Why are we talking about this? Like, it shouldn't even be a conversation." And we've even been able to touch and agree on a lot of different things. That it's like, you can still believe what you believe, but you understand my point of view on a lot of things and how. It may be hard to believe every single thing in the Bible.
Right, because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
And
it's just them coming from, like, our parents came from the era, well, especially yours, like Jim Crow, and they see how the government
has used
things as a tool. Like, you've lived that.
My folks are from the South.
Yeah.
I grew up in Columbus, Georgia. My mom's from Mississippi. My dad is originally born in Virginia, but grew up in Georgia his whole life. So... very, very much, church is everything. Church is like literally it's home, it's the nursery, it's the gym.
It's not the gym.
Literally.
Yeah.
My church we had a gym. Every Saturday, like they invite the whole neighborhood.
Work out with the Lord.
Come play ball.
Not work out.
I know it sounds funny, but that's serious. Like you kind of like curate. You kind of curate your life around like.
I love that.
The church.
I mean, I just love Jesus.
Church was everything for people growing up in the South.
And also like Caribbean homes, like it was a very like strong Christian base. So I realized that my dismantling with the thought process of like the ignorance of the Bible, and not like the Bible is ignorant, but like how people that
use it
like in a very ignorant way, and like specifically my parents.
Not personal at all.
But the dismantling of it made me realize how much women are human, right? And so it was taking away a lot of like how I viewed like women in like their humanness and like on this pedestal that I would put them when it came to women in like the happy life, happy wife, happy life, theory and all this like other dumb shit, that when I started viewing them more as human, I could start seeing like, oh, if the shit that I like to do, they like to do. So there has to be a certain level of acceptance if I want somebody to accept me and the shit that I like, that I have to accept from them as well. That's a very strong balance that I could like bring forth into my relationship just by seeing somebody that's like, oh, you like doing that? Not that I may like you doing that, but I can understand why you like doing that, because you are just as human as me. Vagina and penis being different, but like it's still all the same shit. Yeah, so I can understand why you like being a hoe, just like I can understand why I like being a hoe. And I don't have to go, I like being a hoe. I can't get why you like it. You're on a pedestal and you're my wife, and it's like, it makes no sense.
You not supposed to like
right, yeah. What the shit that they be saying?
Because you're more internal.
One key that can open up many locks is a master key. But if a lock can be opened by many keys, she's a whore.
I've never heard that one.
That is...
It's been a lot of Crockett shit that's been going around.
I have a theory about like men who have previously grown up in religious spaces being attracted to wild women, because if you've been contained by religion, and then you come out of it, you understand, you have a better idea. I mean, this is my theory, Mila's theory on men, previously religious men, that because I've dated guys who were like previously religious and they were okay with my wildness, they're okay with my like whatever the full expression of me, because have been previously contained in a space where they couldn't be the full expression of themselves. And so there's a level of understanding there. I feel like so. Shout out to all the previously religious men seeking a wild woman. If you're a wild woman, go to the church. The ones that left.
I do have a question for both you and Jade, though. How is it being like a woman like wanting to be herself, but having to find like a man while having a kid? Like, how is it not wanting to find, but like I know you said earlier that it was kind of like you closed your dating pool. Yeah. So how was it like when you got to the point of like, oh, I'm a single mom now, to thinking about like, what is dating gonna look like for me?
Yeah, I had insecurities about my body after having a baby, because I was very young. I was only 21 when I got pregnant. So I don't know life without having to care for someone, or without having a, unbabied body. What's the word? I don't know. Whatever.
Pre-touch.
Pre-baby. Pre-baby. Exactly. I have had a mom bod since I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, so, but to me, I felt like and we're in the generation where a lot of our peers still don't even have children yet,
Right.
So I was an anomaly. Like, I'm young and I have a baby, and like his father and I broke up after maybe 13 months of, so I had a young kid. And so I felt like, my dating pool was very limited. I should probably date more mature men who will appreciate my body and my stretch marks and that weird brown line that comes when you get pregnant. Like, I just thought that that's all that I could have. I felt unattractive.
There's a weird brown line?
That brown...
You've never been around a pregnant woman like that.
Oh, the one in the middle?
Yeah.
I like that little line.
Yeah, well, that you're rare. At least maybe in my mind, I thought that, I didn't have what my peers could offer a man physically. And truthfully, I mean, I felt that all the way up until I met Devin. Really, it just... He accepted me, and not that he shouldn't, though, and that's the crazy thing, is that
he accepted me
with my child. But that is the narrative that had been fed to me. And like I said, even from people around him or people that I knew who felt like, oh, well, you're...
He is settling. He is...
You know what I mean?
You're lucky you got you a good man.
Exactly.
He wants you.
You said, huh?
He wants you.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you're so lucky. So yeah, I grappled with that for a really long time, and I struggled with it even well into our relationship. It's something that I had to.
I was gonna say,
heal from.
Was it difficult even once you guys were in the relationship to kind of remove that voice, that narrative, and do like you're safe and it's okay?
It took a while. It took a really long time. How about for you?
Yeah, same. Yeah, I think definitely like the last 2 years, I had to like settle into being happy consistently and like knowing that I deserve that and that like it's okay to just be happy every day. You know, it's okay to not be stressed about anything. It's okay to like post online. You know, there was a time where I was just like, am I annoying? Like, Like, I just got a boyfriend so suddenly, like, you know, but I'm like, you know, because I would be the bitch, like, if these bitches don't if this bitch has got a boyfriend, like, if this bitch is begging for a boyfriend online, I mean, because I've seen it too, like, I want a man when my husband comes, and I've never been that way, you know, I'm like, if it happens, cool, but I think I'd also written it off, you know, like, I'm a wild woman, I have a podcast where I'm talking about sex, I have a child, and I had kind of been like, I'm cool on these niggas, honestly, like, I'll have a lot of friends, and I was cool with that, but, in the depth of my heart, I wanted to be in a loving, safe relationship. I just didn't see that. I didn't see any men who were about that life. And so I wasn't about to be fucking out here desperate and waiting, you know? I was just like, I'm gonna ride the fucking wave until I find some friends and, you know, make it cool. But definitely, like, when he moved here and he was, like, calling Luna his daughter, it took a minute to be like, you're good. And you're safe and it feels good and that's okay. And you can be in love every day and it can be fairy tale like and it could be like a movie and you can still have chemistry and fuck and you could still like go out and have fun and these are all things that you deserve and actually isn't this what you asked for, bitch?
Right.
Because I was like, I'm not settling. Like if the sex dries up, if I'm not attracted to you anymore, if we don't feel like we're having fun, like what the fuck is the point? Correct. I don't have a desire to coexist and live with someone and be miserable because I saw my parents do that shit. And so, yeah, it took me a long time. And even, like I said, I have another podcast where we're super close and we have been, our podcast is really built in single motherhood and out here, like, we're single, fuck y'all, you know, like, because we kind of felt rejected in ways. And not fuck y'all, we've never really said that. I mean, we have said fuck niggas a couple times, but a few times. But ultimately, you know, we've always been clear that we wanted relationships, but I just didn't think it was possible. And even like when there was a time where I was falling in love and she was in a relationship that wasn't going great and I felt guilt about it. I felt guilty. I felt like trying to downplay it just inside my body. But I realized how much like denying my pleasure in that way just denied my pleasure in a lot of things. You know, if I can downplay it here, it's going to downplay here. So you could be like having a very successful moment in business, but because I haven't allowed myself to have the full expression of pleasure in my relationship, I can only be so happy over here. You know, and so it's just like
that's interesting that you felt that was a part of your brand, like to have to be single and not be in your fullness. That's really interesting.
I mean, not even like, a little bit. Like, bitch, you've been saying fuck niggas for a minute. You know? Or like that I wasn't as interesting because I didn't have a lot of horror stories to tell. You know, I'm like, I've been fucking this nigga for 2 years and some change.
Yeah, you can't tell those horror stories are kind of extreme. I will say I did realize that coming into a relationship with somebody that is a mom, that y'all need a lot of reassurance. And it's not a bad way. It's not a bad way. I love giving the reassurance. Like, it's fine. I'm not going to leave you because you have a child. Like, it's fine. I know she said that I'm not her dad 20 times today. I'll still go pick her up. Like, it's okay. Like, y'all need a lot of reassurance. And I kind of love giving it to you.
Do you feel like I needed a lot of reassurance?
Not around that, no.
No? What do you know?
Now what do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say a lot, no.
Yeah. I think a lot more of my guilt came from just mom guilt in general towards my son. And like, you know, just the industry that I'm in, or even the fact that we do work together. So it things that we would go and be somewhere and he's not necessarily there, but it's work and it looks like fun, you know, and
I feel that.
You know what I mean? Like that is more of what I would need reassurance from him to say, like, you're a good mom. Like, it's okay. This is what you do. If you were LeBron James, no one would blink an eye as you go and you're gone for seasons at a time, traveling the country to do your job. Like, it's okay. Like, literally, was it 2 weeks ago? We had a show in Italy, and it was during our son's spring break, so he was coming with us. Oh, nice. And, well, what happened was our son's passport was expiring within 6 months, and we didn't know that Italy had a rule that if it's expiring, so we were literally at the airport, and they wouldn't let him. So I was like, well, we're not going. I'm like, he's like,
I don't think it works that way.
You signed a contract, one, and this is a very big bag, like a very nice bag.
Bitch, we're going to Italy.
Like, you got it. And my instinct is like, oh, I
can't leave my son at the airport.
I felt
Grandma,
horrible.
come get him.
You know? But yeah, so you have assured me in that way to remind me like who I am and to still be able to do what I do, because our son didn't miss a beat. He had a good ass time. We cut this trip short, and that was part of the mom guilt. But yeah, I think in those ways you've definitely had to keep me on track from the guilt that I've given myself over the years.
Shout out to y'all. I mean, shout out to the men who can continuously do that, because even for me, I feel the same way, like traveling, going on tour and shit, and even just like we used to be just us, and now there's a third person, and I know she loves it because I had minimal energy because I'm working too, so it does bring more energy to our household versus it not. But I do internalize that too, and I think in general, particular women need a particular type of man, and like I said, we work together, but also like we are front-facing people, know, we're giving our energy to a lot of people. You are a performer, you're an artist, you're a singer, and you guys work together, but like you're on stage, you're hugging and kissing babies and shit, and same, like I'm walking niggas on a leash on stage, and it's just totally,
And I'm in the front of the house making sure it's viewed properly and proper lighting.
And not all men could support their women in this space. A lot of men can't handle that shit. A lot of men are jealous of women, even the women that they lay down with every night. So like,
especially the women that they lay down with at night.
So to have a man who like pours into us and like affirms us, and it's like, it's okay, like you're supposed to get this bag, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, who's gonna pay the bills? And it's true, because men don't get that same same criticism at all.
They absolutely do not. If they're looked at as providers, and they're looked at as making a sacrifice for the sake of the family. Right. Like, oh, girl, these double standards.
It's crazy. Down with the double standards.
That's another part where we are so not relatable. We're similar because like you don't see a lot of men where their woman is on the main stage, and we're just in the background, like supporting them within work and like supporting them, like just their energy. So I think it's like really beautiful that we can sit here and be like, nah, go out there, baby, you do great, and don't worry about them kids. They're gonna be fine, or I'm gonna take care of them so you can have the energy after we get back home. Like that whole like, but yeah, men are jealous of women.
And I encourage you to stop being jealous of your bitch, because if you come together, it will go much further.
Ooh, there's so much magic in partnership, man. And I'm so grateful for you. I just have to say, I really am.
Tell him how grateful you are.
And having this conversation, because you allow me the space to take up space, and then you also give me the space to have my individual time, and you show up for our son in a way that just gives me so much more peace. Like, I could not have done this without you, and I'm just grateful.
How is it for you being the supporter? Well,
it was newer for me. Well, I've always supported, but I was also.
I thought you were rolling something. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yo, that's already rolled.
Oh, it's rolled already. Keep going.
But yeah, that's where like with.
It's not long enough.
Being in a leadership role, the support looks different. So it's still supporting when you're leading it or in the front.
Right. No one knows that you're leading.
Right. Exactly. And so it was an easy transition because I was a singer, an artist. I was signed to Motown. But I was also
all the things this man did.
I was
lived many lives. Many lives.
I was also producing and writing my own music.
Swinging, Motown singing.
Now I'm going to church, y'all.
Sorry, good.
But yeah, that's all I knew was having to support myself and my career. So it was an easy transition being on the other side, because I'd been the face of being a talented musician since I was a kid. So I was actually kind of relieved to just play in the back and just because I have that observant mind, I could see why certain artists didn't work or did work, and it was like, yo, we need to do it this way. This is way before people were even talking about being independent. And I
Yeah.
was like, we got to do this independently, and we got to, fund our own stuff and figure out untraditional ways to do it. So
Yeah, he saw the vision.
Because he was like, because they're going to rob us otherwise.
yeah,
Yo.
because I saw the contract. I saw the multi-contract.
Right, you
I
said
read I read all 80-something pages of it 3 times. So
Genius,
Like
like I said
this
before.
ain't not enough here.
No, I know the same because when I first met Mila and Erica and for the Patreon episode that we did, I was like, I like this. I like what y'all are doing here. And whatever y'all fucking need, and I was in New York. I was like, whatever y'all need to help this, I support it. And then when I came out here and I was like, I'm going to do the audio. I'm going to be a studio manager. I'm going to be a tour manager because I already understand the bullshit that y'all are going to go through with these things. And I feel more comfortable if somebody that cares about it does it, which is myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you really need somebody that's enthusiastically like about all of that support.
yeah, that's the biggest thing, and the enthusiasm. Like, I mean, whether it's partnership, whether it's management, agents, or whatever, you need people who are excited about your shit.
The whole team must be excited.
everybody must be
Like,
excited.
guys, then please leave. Like, you were just killing the
Exit
energy.
stage
Yo.
left.
Yeah, honestly, that gray area, you got to go. If you're not feeling excited about this, then you got to go because we do work very we're intimate. Like our lives are very much our brands.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is not for show.
It's
Yeah.
not.
No.
What you sing about, like
So
what you talk about,
vulnerable.
it's vulnerable.
And you get
So
it.
the spaces need to feel authentic.
Yeah.
I know we're about to roll up. I know you guys mentioned some tantra practice. What tantra practices are you guys doing? How are you keeping your sex life juicy? People always want to know that.
Wow, this wasn't a segment we planned. I like that.
You know I'm the sex of the podcast.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Every podcast that I'm on.
So tantra isn't something that we've done a whole lot, but it's definitely something that we've experimented with and understand the power of. I think our schedules don't allow for us to have all the balance we would want.
So we'll have to pick your brain because you know
that
she
era.
is certified.
I'm a tantric practitioner
Oh, dope! I did not know that.
and a sexologist.
Yep.
I know you were a sexologist.
So she knows her shit. So we do have to pick your brain.
But yeah,
More about that.
we've had experiences doing it just like literally like no touch and just like focusing our energy on manifesting
It's
and
sex energy.
yeah, and
Without touching, like just
Yeah.
but also but feeling it through your aura
Right.
and
Your chakras.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's beautiful.
It really is.
It is.
Hey, quick question. How is that transition going from church into more so a spiritual mindset?
Especially when it comes to stuff like sex magic, because the church really villainizes it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I've always been, and we've had these conversations offline before, but I've always been witchy. Like, I've always really
just
been
know
into
it.
that.
Yeah, you
I
know
was
it.
into Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I was into the craft.
Right.
Like, all of Charmed. I'm like, okay, where are the black?
Where's the book?
Where are the black? And I even, in elementary school, wrote a little book about being a witch. Like, I've always was waiting when I turned 16 for my powers to kick in.
Right,
Seriously, I've always been drawn to that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too far removed for me. I was indoctrinated, but definitely not as deep as your average, black woman who's expected to be in the church, So it wasn't too difficult for me. Yeah, I was always into astrology, in the back of the teen magazines, wanting to know what the tea is,
right.
So yeah, I've always been into those sorts of practices, so it felt kind of natural. My biggest thing was just having someone to affirm it and to feel like I could be safe in it, and that's where, you came in.
Yeah, it was a little more uncomfortable for me. Not like anything I shied away from, but it was something I had to get used to because of the stigma of alternative religious practice and all of that. But I've always been open to it, and I like I said, I'm so logical that I was like, cool, I understand it.
Right.
Why this works and what even what Christians, what they speak of as heaven and hell, and how that actually lines up in our bodies.
Yeah, and in this life experience.
Yeah, I truly believe heaven and hell is a metaphor for how we exist in this world and in our bodies, and what frequency we we vibrate at.
And maybe that was always the intention. I think man is the one who made it so literal so that they could use fear and control.
Yeah.
You know, so I think if you look at the Bible, if you look at those things as metaphors, like heaven and hell, it all makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was all taken from things that had a lot of merit. You know, they stole stuff from, you know, ancient African religions and practices, and so it all came from a place of astrology and of the body and the chakras and everything. So
Elements.
I like this guy. He be talking that stuff.
He's a good guy, man. I told you,
I like
he
this
knows
guy.
his shit.
Even like your spine, like the Jesus dying at 33, and you have 33 vertebrae, and that when that cerebral spinal fluid goes all the way up, and you get into your crown chakra, and I believe in that. It makes so much sense.
I know. I think people are just not willing to like think logically sometimes. What?
It's a little strobe situation.
Yeah, that doesn't sense.
Um,
Welcome to Love Like This. This is what we do over here.
The cameraman and audio is on camera.
Right.
Yeah. I like sitting down like this on this double date because I feel like it's an exchange of medicines in the love, in the love medicine box, because I'm always like, what are you doing over there? It's, and even when people come over, I'm like, let's do a practice, like, you're in love, let me show you. Like, it's just fun to be able to like exchange and practice, and then give, exchange and what works for you, or how are you talking about this? How, how is your son dealing with him calling him son? Like, are you freaking out over there? Me too, a little bit, just like having the conversations and being able to be vulnerable in friendship too. And like, back in the day with our parents, it's like, don't tell our business.
Correct.
It's like, my mom slapped the shit out of my daddy today. Like, don't tell our business. Like, I think my dad's cheating. But like, we don't really come from that. We're kind of like, we're talking about the things and comparing and all those things. Yeah.
Oh wait, the question. What was it? How do you keep your sex interesting?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, and one more thing to your last question though, why it's not so far removed. And I saw something you all posted that had me cracking up on Easter Sunday, like that a lot of the practices in Christianity are super pagan if you think about it, like communion, like drinking the blood of Jesus, or eating part of his body, or doing certain rituals, or even like, I can't remember the post that y'all put about like, if you can believe in someone rising
from the dead.
Then what was it? Did you say? Do you remember what it was?
I forgot. Something like that. Like, yeah, we can believe in someone rising. I think you believe in magic.
Yeah, it's just like it's all from the same
root.
But the word is magic, so
Yeah, but like, you're celebrating someone being brought back from the dead. Like, that is very witchy.
It's very zombie. Like,
yeah, no disrespect. I mean, I'm just saying.
well, it's like, if we can observe that, we can talk about that, then like, why can't we discuss like the power of like orgasm, like,
because I think that's the thing with religion. It had to take the power away from you
and give it to someone else.
So it's always external. It's never you.
You're never the God body.
It's never the tribe. It's never the community all coming together and putting energy into the same thing. Like,
you build up a dependent mentality. Like, you always need another source for your strength. Like, you can never find it in yourself. There's nothing that you can do alone.
Right.
And that's what I love about the switch in thought process with spirituality, because it's not to denounce any of that, right? It's just to say that you yourself, you're a part of that. You're a part of the strength itself, so you don't have to look outward for the strength. It's in you, and you just have to do what you have to do for yourself. Be more of yourself, be more into yourself, and then that's how you'll find the answer for yourself. Yep. And so that was always my thing about Christianity. Well, my dad and stepmother was a 7-day Adventist, so that was a whole nother thing. So a cheating 7-day Adventist husband, that is a very extreme household to be in. But Jesus Christ, I just got a flashback. It's triggered flashback. But it's beautiful to be in this type of mentality where I can see and understand and support someone that is also spiritual, that calls herself a witch, and go, no, it's fine to call yourself that. I don't think that's ever an issue. Is if you feel like you want to be naked and free, well, I also think clothes are a problem. Like, this shit don't make no sense. So it's like, when you're on the same type of like spiritual mindset, not like, I'm not into tarot that much, but she may be into tarot, but not like the tools, but the same spiritual mind. Like, it makes it so much easier to navigate a relationship.
You're open to all the tools.
Yep.
Yeah.
All paths to God.
Yep.
Which is how, like, the sex magic is so beautiful, because when you're people that go, if you want to do some hoe shit, it's fine. I still accept you as you are. And you're saying that you're very spiritual. I accept you as you are. We can now combine these two things. And you're saying that the magic helps manifest in all these things. And our sex life is so, all of these things are so amazing. And it's like a generator or a power source to then fuel all the things that we can manifest.
Yeah.
And then you call it Tantra? Oh, it's lit. Yeah.
So the question was, how do we keep our sex life spicy? Was that how y'all call it?
Yeah. Mila's new segment on Love Like This. Debut today. New to everybody here.
I just think curiosity. We're both very curious people. We both are very in tune with our like inner child in that way. So yeah, just remaining curious, I think, has kept us very spicy.
Oh, don't worry about the light, baby. It's gonna do its thing.
Okay.
What you think, baby?
Yeah, I would agree. We definitely, like, even in our charts and stuff, like finally getting more into astrology, it definitely, it makes sense. Her as a Gemini, and like the communication, and I'm an Aries, that's like the perfect match. And yeah, we get each other, and we allow each other to be curious and question things, and it's a safe space.
They mean about the sex.
Huh?
About the sex.
I know that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. Like the
I just
the curiosity of just being able to be curious, like I was saying earlier.
Nah, I just had an idea, right? Because you were talking about astrology and stuff like that. Our thing is role playing, right? That's how we keep it like curious. And I was like, what if they role played as different signs? Like, what if you're not an Aries?
So stupid.
What if you come in the bed like,
yeah,
like, I'm a Cancer, baby. I'm so emotional.
I don't know how to play it.
I feel everything.
Big, I feel everything, baby.
I'm weeping right now.
Right. And she's just sitting there like, I'm a Leo. I'm going to tell you what to do. Like,
This is actually a vibe. We might have to try that.
I'm telling
guys
you.
role play?
It's not
We
specific
have,
enough yet.
yeah.
You like
We have. I don't know if you want to talk about the time that one time,
What one time?
the one where like it was a whole situation.
It's like a good time.
Oh, this is good.
I love it on camera.
Oh, it's up to you.
You want to talk about it on?
That is up to you. I'm gonna let you.
Yes,
It's
we've
lit.
role played.
Oh, it's lit.
We'll talk about
We're
it
going
at
to
dinner.
Patreon this.
Okay, I'll talk about it dinner.
Yeah, our Patreon is free, but we're going to Patreon this. Well, for now, until Mila gets the password. So you got so much time to get to it.
We delve heavy in the role playing realm. Mostly because I feel like we're comfortable with each other. So
Yeah.
like you said, like the childlikeness, we have like space to play. But we go into this place called the fantasy field.
That's like the space
Yeah,
for
that's
you
the
all.
space, the
That's the
fantasy
name of it.
field.
Fantasy
And
field.
so like anything can be in the fantasy field. And like we can aid it with like porn. We could place ourselves in the porn. We could not aid it with that. It could just be like just oral, just us talking. It could be all types of shit.
It could
Other
be the waitress we
people,
saw earlier today.
Yeah, just all types of crazy shit. But that's been kind of fun and has actually developed over like a long period of time of like one of the forms in which I feel like we're fucking each other, but it's like it's still the whole life, you know, but just bringing that into our relationship.
Yeah, I can dig that.
You know, like you don't have to stop being a hoe in your relationship. In
Right.
fact, that should be the place where you delve into it the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
Because it's the most free, it's the most safe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
you're not leaving me. You're
Yeah.
stuck, you know? So.
We actually started this by the fantasy was me cheating on her with her. Like, she was a whore in a brothel. And I like went there. I was an innocent like timid guy who doesn't really do things like this.
Oh my God, my name was Jade.
And her name was Jade.
But can I tell you that my girl's name is Luna, which is so odd because that's her daughter's name. I know. So we're connected in this weird way. But yes, my
I just realized
I thought about that earlier.
You thought about the fact that it was Luna? Yeah, that's my.
I was like, her name. I was like, you know what? Her name is Jade.
Mine is
that stripper in the brothel. I mean, she's more like a whore. Yeah.
It was a very good time. But what was this role play? Yeah, you can't.
Right. I'm like, yeah.
So what is this role play story that you're telling?
Oh, we're gonna tell y'all at dinner.
Yeah,
we're gonna tell y'all that specific one. But yeah, I mean, I can relate in the sense of creating a world and a space where, you know,
we're writers,
and I love playing different characters. That's what I do for a living. So it's like fun. Why not do it with someone that I love and take advantage of those skills and our imagination and our creativity? Like you said, you're really there.
Yeah.
Like there's so much power. Couples, people in relationships, tap into your imagination and your creativity. Remember that Tamia song, Imagination? Maybe y'all don't. I don't know how old you are. But it is a thing. It really is a beautiful thing when you just can explore within your own relationship. And like you said, still feel like you're dealing with all of these different people in these interactions because you're playing.
Because you're playing in there. Yeah. And you're really going there. And it's nice to be in like a judgment-free zone.
That part too.
It's just a judgment-free zone because it's just like, say whatever the fuck I want. You know? So yeah.
Have you ever had experiences where either of you felt like you weren't accepted in like your sexual expressions in other relationships? Like
I have a vagina.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, because I was always the more open-minded one, and my open-minded didn't really come from like I'm trying to be freaky and like do a bunch of shit. It was more so of just like curiosity, and then also wondering like, why is nobody else doing this? Like, why is everybody like hiding this? Why does nobody want to do this? So it's like now it makes me even more curious. So like, let's try this. Let's figure out why nobody wants to do it, and let's figure out like if we really don't like it. And so then I'm more of a trier. I'm more of like willing to do shit than like asking questions about myself and stuff like that. Than just going like, I'm just not even gonna try. I'm not scared of trying.
Yeah.
So.
Trisexual.
How's a trisexual?
Sometimes I'm like, we don't sit your ass down. We tried too many things today. We need to try again next month.
Yeah, there's some situations I've walked away from with women and I went, yeah, that's a no. Never doing that again. So it's like,
but like the nice to have the freedom to explore it without shame because I've definitely, I mean. For a long time, I never thought that I would ever like have a threesome with two guys, and I'm like, but then I'll watch the porn. But I was like, because I like dick, duh. But it always seemed rapey.
Yeah,
and it seemed like I was a whore. And then someone painted it different to me, like then your worship, and they're feeding you grapes, and they slowly bathe you. And I was like, they're friends, huh?
They're friends. Tell me more.
They love me, like. And I saw Savages, you know, Blake Lively. She's two hot boyfriends. Yeah, so that changed my mind. But
I've had to tell somebody.
I would never tell a guy that prior to him. I would never say that, even when I was like, I guess that. I would never, you know what I mean? And then if I did say it, I would expect not to be loved after.
It's like you're quincing up like,
Even though they're like, I want a threesome, eat some pussy.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
you sure you want to eat some pussy? Are you sure?
Which I'll be talking about with the whole balance thing. Like if I'm a person that likes threesome with women, I can't expect to be with somebody that doesn't like anything outside of like the norm. Like I'm gonna expect her to like threesomes in all different types of aspects also. So if I'm gonna like this and express this, I need to be prepared for that. I also forgot what I was gonna say. That was really so dope, but I'm high. That's why I forgot.
That's okay.
High. Well, I mean, I'm high too, unless you remember, honey.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay, well, thank you for
this. This is the best part. This is the best part because I was like, once we're high, it's like. I forgot the cameras are on. Also, I looked up. I was like, "Oh yeah, we're still recording."
I did have a moment where I thought, "Did I say too much?"
No, we haven't said much.
No, it's been beautiful.
It's a very small love cast. It's just going out slowly to the people it needs to. I give like only the ears that need to hear it, only the people who can receive it, and it will just go and flow to the couples and the single people who are like
cosmos. Like
the cosmos, like
it'll do its thing.
That's how our powers work. So don't worry. Tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me at Jade Nova, JadeNovah. I mean, I'm sure that'll be written somewhere. I don't know why I spell like it's not 2024.
I mean,
the AI is gonna print it out somewhere.
And Devin Mykel and Devin _Mykel, depending on where.
What's
where
the
you
podcast? What is it called? When is it coming?
Well, it's Let There Be Art. It should be
nice.
coming in the next month or so. I'm not sure when this is coming out, but
Probably around a month.
Month so.
So then it's out.
It'll be out by summer.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
excited.
But yeah, it's independent creator empowerment. Really giving artists the tools to be able to scale their businesses.
And not just artists, but creatives of all kinds.
Yeah, and when I mean artists, I mean like literally any type of creation, which hence the name Let There Be Art.
I love that.
Yeah. So really excited about doing this. We've built our careers up, from the ground up for 12 years.
You're killing it. You're killing the game,
Doing
baby.
it
You
all
came back from Italy.
independently. Yes. Doing it all independently. Where Have I Been went number 2 on iTunes. It came out in March. Been really well received. So just excited to expand on our label and our brand. Let There Be Art, and yeah.
And our residency. You should talk about that.
Where's the
Talk
residency?
about it.
It's gonna be in Atlanta.
It's called Spaces.
Yeah, so the goal is to have this up and running by the end of the summer, but really curating a space of wellness and health, and again create empowerment for companies and creators, again, to be able to scale their businesses. So we wanted to create a live space to be able to do that in, and have live music.
Jam
sessions. We have speakers on to talk about financial empowerment.
Like a co-creative space.
Yeah.
Co-create.
Or you could even think
co-working.
of like a place, it's not a place of worship, but that same vibe of going somewhere, getting fed, being able to express yourself through art and music, and and heal in that way, because music is
Yoga,
the ultimate
meditation.
Yeah, so coming together
Yes.
collectively, meditating, even like what you ladies were doing with the affirmations, like understanding the power of numbers and that sort of magic of just having community around art and healing, and understanding that even being a creative and wanting to find success is holistic. Like, it's not just I have this aim. You have to have every single blueprint in place: the business, the mindset, the what you're putting into your body, what you're feeding your mind. And so that's really what Spaces is, just kind of teaching us how to get back to that space of, holistic community and and success.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to come.
You'll have to come and
Come
get on the
create.
mic. Yeah. You're gonna sing, you're gonna rap.
I'm gonna do all the shit.
Some open
Who
mic.
knows what's gonna be cracked open?
You know what I'm saying? You might do some stand. You need to do stand up, girl.
I told Orlando.
I
No,
don't disagree.
you're so funny, and
I
you
agree.
have a very
I can't even.
you're very good with words.
Yeah.
Like you flow very
Yeah.
well. It's so beautiful. Like it's an art to watch you just when you're
Talk.
in your.
When she monologues,
I mean,
it's
that's
beautiful.
That's why I
guys.
listen to your podcast, because you're
guys.
brilliant.
I love
You so come do stand up at Spaces,
I will
and
do
we'll hold
stand-up.
space for you to just try it out.
I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
gotta
take
hit
you
it,
up
baby.
on that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Girl, I've been trying to start stand up for forever, so maybe we should just jump
Maybe we should
together.
do a show. Yeah,
Could you imagine? Come on,
that would be so fun.
A little ping pong action,
Right, invite all our friends. You gotta now. You're gonna watch us do stand up.
Oh no, not that ping pong. Oh Lord, our friend told us about something, and where was it?
Thailand.
Where
Where you
they're.
ping pong out
Well,
the
no,
pussy.
this was in Japan. In what's it called?
I don't know, baby. Don't move. We ain't going. It's not that kind of
The ping pong show is a thing.
Yeah.
but not that one.
Okay,
I meant
no, just a regular
exchanging comedy.
We're high. Well, we're leaving now. We're going to eat. I have to pee. Bye.
Well, a lot like this.